as EDG ban away the Aphelios. That's Light most picked so far in the split. Galio take it away from Scout as well. And now we'll see where EDG are going to go to round out these bans, because you could look towards, I mean, I was going to say an Ashe ban. Ashe is not worth banning, honestly. Maybe a mid laner away from Maple. Away from Maple.
Yeah, potentially even something along the lines of like a Graves or something like that. I know XX has played a couple of games of that, but it looks like it'd be the Ezreal banned away. Opportunity here to go towards Ashe here for Light, or the Graves, the Nidalees, these kind of picks that are still up and available.
Trundle.
Although that Zoe LeBlanc matchup was pretty strong, maybe they want to prioritize the mid laner. It will be the Syndra instead, though.
I like this. Does well into Zoe as well, so it kind of denies a pick somewhat, at least from Scout. The LeBlanc did not work in game number 1, so it changed things up, but still prioritized Maple, as he really has been one of the primary carries on the side of LNG. EDG, though, going back to what works for them, going with this Ashe. We've seen it 100 times in the past.
They are hovering over this set. I'd be surprised if it's locked in. I'd actually rather maybe see something like the Trundle locked in here, just because you know that XX is more than likely going to try and tend towards that here anyway, and Ashe Trundle is such a strong combo, but set is going to be locked in. Mako has played this previously. We also have seen it in the hands of JJ2, so still that flexibility there.
We could see the Kalista from Light here. It's not something I would usually expect from him, but hey, I'm willing to see new things. I mean, he's played it 4 times a split. It's not like he's never played it before, but when I'm so used to seeing him on the Aphelios every single game, like, Kalista and Aphelios are very different styles of carry.
Hasn't been one of his more successful champions, though. So I'm surprised to see them lock it in here again, but look, it does give them 2 aggressive lanes now that they can play around. Syndra should have an advantage over Scout in the mid lane here. Even if he goes back towards the Zoe, even if he goes towards the LeBlanc, it's still relatively Syndra favored. Always the opportunity here for Scout to go towards something like the Orianna if he really wants to, but then you still got bot lane, there's Kalista, Nautilus, great gank setup, a lot of ability to play around them, so LNG have options here for XX to work with.
Yep, nice bot lane and a nice mid lane as well set up for LNG. And on the other side, we could see the set in the bottom lane, or not, since a Brom's just been locked in. So, could be JJ with the set in the jungle instead. I mean, there's a chance that it goes to the top lane, not likely. It's not really the kind of pick you'd expect out of Scout in the mid lane either.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen it from before. I imagine that this is most certainly for JJ. So I think that this is where we're going to be looking to see if they ban away some of these picks that can be a bit of a nuisance for this set in the jungle. Rek'Sai does make a lot of sense, and especially since you can try and contest them nice and early. On the opposite side for LNG, I mean, you're looking at a lot of top lane bans that you can go towards here, alongside a lot of those mid lane bans as well, and just make damn sure Maple is set up for success in this mid lane.
Renekton banned away here from Xiaosheng, deciding that the Quinn counter was not enough last time, and I have to say I agree. So just remove the comfort pick from him instead. EDG, I mean, they could look to just ban away XX again, remove even more comfort, or perhaps take something away from Flandre.
Either way, EDG in this next rotation, imagine they're going to go towards a guaranteed mid laner here for Scout. You already know you're up against the Syndra, so it's not like you don't know what you're paired against. And as well, EDG love to leave Xiaosheng with this counter pick, because he does have picks like the Camille, some of these more split push orientated picks he can go towards. And when Flandre was already struggling in, well, not struggling, but not getting as big an advantage as he could have in this 1v1 up against Xiaosheng, doubling down on that and giving Xiaosheng the better pick makes a lot of sense to me.
Well, Scout Zoe is going to be respected at the end of the day. So we don't get to see the same shenanigans we saw in game number 1, at least from Scout. But now he gets to pick his matchup up against the Syndra. He's hovering this Kali, which it's not something he's played this split, but I'm in. I'm interested. Let's see it, Scout.
It is double assassin in the mid lane, and I'd actually, well, I suppose you kind of more control mage for Syndra, but you still have that assassination potential here against the Akali, and Akali will struggle in these early stages because as this Syndra, you can play pretty far back. You can use these fears to just poke Akali every time she tries to farm. And eventually it will get to the stage where if you don't have help from your jungler here, Scout, and Maple's able to hit that level 6 point, very large opportunity to just one-shot this Akali. So you have to be careful here as Scout, but when you hit that level 6 point as Scout, a lot of this matchup changes where you have some kill pressure back as Scout in that lane.
One thing I will say for LNG, though, is they've got this cannon now. They've got XX on the Graves. Like, there's a lot of team fight potential now. They have really, really good damage, a massive spike in the mid-game. LNG, if they can find some 5v5s around these Dragons and around Heralds, they could look to actually win those ones out. Last time around, they nearly managed to pull that off, but JJ and Xiaoshang pretty much just outplayed them, and that was the moment where EDG really got the lead for themselves. Does feel like this time around, LNG are the ones with the advantage in that situation.
I like what LNG have drafted here. I mean, the cannon at the last second, you've already spotted that Set wants to go in aggressive, Akali needs to be relatively close range, and then that Wukong followed through, so a composition that wants to be on top of you. Kennen thrives in that sort of situation, and especially when you're able to set up a lot better for this Kalista, because you've got a bunch of these bruisers that are all stunned in front of her. She can create a little bit more distance for herself or go a lot more aggressive. So this is fantastic setup for the for Light in this fight alongside the Kennen. So there is, as you said, a lot of potential here in the early stages where at these early Dragon fights, at this Rift Herald fight, LNG can look to snowball their advantages, but if EDG are able to get into superior positioning here, where they can find multiple different flanks, where you're not just all grouping in on top of this Kennen, you can separate out this fight, I'll give it over to EDG.
That's going to be the question, is how separated these skirmishes are going to be. Obviously, the Wukong and the Set love to pull people in together, but when you've got the Ash Arrows available, you've got Braum to follow up, and then you've got Scout on this Akali. If Scout can find targets on their own, dance around these skirmishes, certainly has the opportunity to pop off, but I'm feeling it for LNG. So are those guys. So that's good. I'm on board with the Jio, I guess. We're going into game number 2 here. EDG strong win in game number 1. LNG looking to play spoiler, though. They're going to have to get 2 on the trot if they want to try and ruin EDG's playoff chances. EDG right now, for anyone that's just tuning in, they're 4 and 8 on the standings. EDG's not looking pretty, but it's still possible. And everything starts with a win right here.
So LNG, if they want to try and play spoiler here, the best way for them to try and do that is for XX to work in conjunction with Maple through this mid lane. You have a really strong mid-jungle 2v2 between the Syndra and that Graves. And either that can be the case of, okay, let's gank into Scout, let's try and shut down this Akali early, or shoving in this wave super effectively as Maple and roaming with XX to put pressure on towards JJ. Be curious to see if they are able to do it, though, as last game there wasn't much coordination between the mid and jungle of LNG.
One thing I will say, though, is they're going to be really quick because they both got phase rush. So, fancy footwork maybe coming on through. I don't know if that really adds to your point, Dagda, but I said it, so there you go.
And fleet footwork on the other side for Scout, pretty much standard here for the Akali, who will need that to try and heal her way back up.
Unfazed with my just sheer nonsense.
Look, I live with you, man. I've been living under the same house for what now, 8 months, 7 months, whatever we're at, because we did do that little trip home. I am well used to your nonsense at this stage.
That's true. I can't say I feel sorry for you because I don't have any empathy. I'm actually a sociopath.
Oh, I thought you were going to say because you live with yourself all the time and you think you're great or something along those lines. But you take it down.
Why not both?
I'm fine with that.
Why not both?
Yeah, true.
You know? I'm like the Dexter of the esports world. That's not true. I haven't killed anyone, guys. Chill out. All right.
That you know.
Let's talk about the bot lane. Dagda, over to you. Tell me about the bot lane.
So the bottom lane here for EDG actually has a reasonably good fight against Light and Duan. So Mako does really well against this Nautilus because the Braum, whenever Nautilus goes aggressive, just pops up that Unbreakable, stands in front of his AD carry, and you trade super aggressively back onto Duan. Also as well, Hope has got that range advantage. The double slows that come through from Hope and Mako make it really difficult for Light to try and trade aggressively. So already you can see they're pushing in super hard on this bottom side and putting at least a little bit of pressure onto Light and Duan and allowing JJ to get the scuttle on the bottom side when they'll spawn.
We have seen that so far, not just in this series, today in general, the junglers have been quite happy to just trade scuttles on opposite sides of the map. Not really been too much contention for that. With XX on this Graves, though, we'll see if he's going to move. He is on the bottom half of the map right now, but doesn't look like he'll actually try and fight for this one. JJ should be able to just grab this uncontested. And the next question is, what is JJ going to do next?
I think it's actually more what X. Well, he's going to move in. This is why XX has moved back down towards this bottom side. So pathing down here to. Oh, hang on.
Bit of a brawl.
So,
well, no, bit of a W.
So XX path down towards the bottom side, because what you'd assume is with this super aggressive push from Hope and Mako, they can move in, but now JJ is trying to go towards this top side, and he doesn't have control of this top side of the map right now. Xiaoshang is still a little bit away, but now moving in to help out as JJ and Scout are already taken to about half health.
And bear in mind, Flandre is stuck underneath this tower right now. The minion wave is there, so it means that with a little help from his friends, JJ is going to get by. Grab himself Scuttle Crab.
So what XX was trying to do was move down to this bottom side, clear out that the bottom camps that he hadn't cleared, and then would go path back up towards top side and take the Scuttle Crab. But this real messy clear from the Graves has meant that now JJ has gotten 2 of those Scuttles. He's completely uncontested his own side of the jungle, and he's done a full clear now. So JJ can back. He'll come back out with all of his camps respawning at level 3 as XX is a level down and looking for an invade here.
Ring around the rosies as well, around the red buff. Scout is in the perfect position to move in for this one. XX is going to be stunned by the face breaker, no flashes, straight into the loving arms of Xiaoshang. I'm struggling to see the scenario where XX makes it out alive on this one. JJ knows he has to come and stop the execute. XX under the tower, face break. Oh my, what?
I think there's still enough damage from earlier on that it still counted. Okay. I don't think he left it long enough, but still.
Well played, JJ.
I mean, this isn't what we wanted to see from XX. So usually the way you try...
Yeah, no, running it down the top lane ain't it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, usually the way you try and work this as a Graves is you go towards a clear of 5 camps into a Scuttle because you clear so quickly. And for XX, when you look at the way the map state is set up, your best bet is to clear towards topside. You enable Flandre in this top lane matchup to go a little bit aggressive. He can also keep that wave pushed in, and you are able to go towards that Scuttle on topside. Whereas if you try and go bottom lane, we already saw Hope and Mako had full control of that bot wave, and they can move up first. However, XX kind of tried to do too many things and tried to outthink JJ, which then get him caught out, and then he went for the invade as well after already being down, and JJ manages to outsmart him again with a nice ward from Scout, and they get the pick. So far XX has really messed up this early path into the jungle.
So what you're saying is too many attempted shenanigans and he's punished for it.
Yeah, but LNG as a whole now are going to be punished for it, because remember what we talked about. We wanted LNG to play through mid. They wanted to see Maple or at least set up, but actually looking at a replay in the bottom left corner.
So this was whether or not Maker was spotted. He went and dropped a control ward. He was not spotted on the way out, which means Dwan didn't know that the control ward was there. So now XX, as you can see by that control ward, everybody knows where he is, and it means JJ can start the dragon.
So he has started up the dragon with Scout moving across as well. Scout uses TP to get advantage or push pressure in that mid, so he's able to come across. Now, so I want to go back to what we were talking about, is that XX, we wanted to see him enable Maple. Because the way that you play through this bottom, or at least set up Lycan to one in this bottom lane, is through a man advantage. You have Maple, who at pretty much any point in time can shove in that wave a lot more aggressive than Scout and move down towards this bottom lane. However, because XX is now set behind, he can't go and try and set up plays in this mid lane, can't move down towards this bottom lane as well for fear JJ joins in. So this game plan from LNG has now tossed out the window, which gives EDG time to scale up. And it's not even like it's scaled towards the late game. It's get to 1 items. You want to see Scout with that Hextech Gunblade, Hope with the Blade of the Rune King, Xiaoshang working most of the way through that Triforce. And say at this second dragon in about 4 minutes, EDG can look to really go hard and try and find these team fights against LNG.
Now, Dagda, we just saw an Ignite in the top lane. There are 3 scenarios where this is acceptable behavior. Either you're a Kennen with Spellbook and you're just using the Ignite because it's going to time out. You're a Zoe and you picked it up with Spell Thief, or you're in Bronze. Luckily for Flandre, it was the first of those 3 options. But there you go. Ignite for Harass in the top lane. 20 CS lead up there as well for Flandre. He's been doing... Obviously, he's in a range matchup against Melee. He's going to be absolutely A-OK to just farm that one out.
And AP against Wukong as well. So that's where Wukong struggles, is in a lot of AP matchups. And that's why I'm surprised to see XX not play around this top side, like when we were looking at that initial Scuttle contest. So, I don't know, LNG right now on the back foot. And even though I'd argue that with Flandre's ultimate, with Maple's ultimate, they could try and make a fight at this Rift Herald, they're actually not going for it either. So now EDG get this free Herald. And then we were talking about, hey, look, in about 3 minutes' time, they could actually be in a super strong spot as EDG to try and go for another fight at this dragon. But JJ wants to make plays topside.
Certainly does. Has the Herald. Hex Flash comes through. Flandre immediately respects that one with his own flash, but then steps back into the fight. Flandre, you are home free. You are out.
I don't know about that one, Chief.
Why flash? Why flash if you're going to go back in? That's what I don't get.
So look, this isn't looking too pretty for LNG right now. 2 kills already over towards EDG. It's only a 500 gold lead, but this is going to start accelerating pretty quickly, especially when you look at like Rift Herald going over towards JJ. And this is also the point in time where LNG, at least at the moment, have an advantage for their composition. Scout, nice job on stopping the back. So this gives Scout the opportunity now to clear this mid wave. He can back himself if he'd like to, because Maple is going to be looking to come back into lane with that teleport.
Yeah, Maple has to stay as well because he realizes Scout's going to shove this wave under. Dwan moving over. Going to be stopped by the Winter's Bite there from Mako, who keeps himself safe. JJ now moving up towards the top half of the map once again. Scuttlecrab is here, but XX and Maple are around to answer the play.
So JJ is going to give this up. Maple holding on here to try and support for that Scuttle contest. It means at least now the Scout can get a nice easy back. You don't even have to have Maple like try and get teleport back in here to shove in this wave. So it actually, although it looks a little bit like LNG win out there, it does allow Scout that back, which is really crucial for him right now. He just finished off the Merc Threads, which makes this matchup a little bit easier, where even if you get stunned, there is an opportunity for you to get the Shroud down and have a little bit more leeway in getting out of that fight.
I'm with you. I'm with you. The Shroud, pretty much the most pivotal ability for Akali during all those skirmishes. We are seeing Mako move down as Dwan and Light were kind of trying to cheese. We are going to see a Slicing Maelstrom on the top side. Xiaosheng should be stunned up here. Gets the Cyclone onto 2, but will go down. So nicely played there by Flandre to set that one up. And XX moves in as well.
Scout is moving down towards this bottom side. EDG have full control. You've got the Showmaker up, or Showstopper even, up once again.
And a Rift Herald as well on top of all of this. Mako going to tank the tower for now. TP immediately comes through from Maple. Good answer here by LNG to stop the dive.
The thing is, though, that what they wanted... Oh, hang on.
He's fine. He's set at
so,
the end of the day.
Like, this is actually pretty nice from EDG side as well, because you do get the TP out from Maple. Now, Flandre would get a good bit of gold back in his favor. JJ looking for Maple, though.
Yeah, looking for a 1v1 right here. He's got a good amount of damage as well. Haymaker's available, but XX deters any further play from JJ. Scout wanted to follow up. He looked like he was going to go for it, but decides diving a tower, not the best play here, especially with Infernal Drake spawning in 15 seconds.
The thing is, though, Flandre has
been
backed.
spotted.
He's moving. Finally gets spotted.
Mako got so much value out of that ward.
Flandre's moved over towards this dragon. He's got Hextech Proto Belt. He's also got an Oblivion Orb, so that Magic Pen is going to be massive for this fight. So Flandre, with this Ghost, can get into the right position. That could swing this game heavily back in favor of LNG, but looks like EDG figuring it out. They're happy to just trade this dragon instead for Xiaosheng getting turret plates on the top side.
Yep, he will be able to do precisely that. And we are going to have either another Cloud Soul or a Mountain Soul this game. We'll have to see which way the dice roll on that one. I'm curious how many plates Xiaosheng's able to get as well. Looks like it's going to be 3 plates for him.
The Rift Herald, though, has just been dropped on bot side, so they're looking again to try and make some more plates go in favor of EDG in the bottom lane. That was about to time out, which is why they needed to put it down instantly.
Yeah, not the best spot in the lane, but when it's going to time out, it's better in a bad spot than not placed at all. JJ is here. XX is off on the side as well. Dwan uses that aftershock just to keep himself safe, using for a trade. Scout's moving.
That's the point. Maple having that teleport down, this was the play I was looking for EDG to try and make, but they're just instead going to allow themselves to get some of that turret plate gold back in their favor instead. And Scout will return towards the mid lane, but we do have to be cognizant that Scout still has this teleport and can try and make some plays with Hope, with Mako, and even of course his top side if they want to.
I mean, I'm always cognizant, me. Cognizant is my middle name, Doctor. Joe Cognizant Fenny.
And where does Munchables fit into?
It doesn't.
Oh, okay.
It's too wide of a word. It doesn't fit into many sentences.
Well, that's why we say munch, right? You're just...
Exactly, yeah. It's just so it can fit within sentences. Yeah. Too many letters. It's a big problem in Germany. They've got a lot of words that don't fit in sentences.
What's that mountain in Wales called? The really long one. I don't even know if you can
Why are you asking me?
Well, it's
I
like,
don't
you're
know.
in from the UK. I
Ask
just assumed
Vedius.
there was like general stuff. I should probably ask.
The only Welsh thing I know is that microwaves are called pop-a-da-ping.
Yeah, and that is actually true. That's not him trolling. But here we go. Here's the play we were talking about.
Light is going to be able to save one for now, but Xiaoshang immediately underneath the tower. Double knock up with the Cyclone. Depth charge does nothing. And you know what? Hope gets both the kills. This was a perfect dive for EDG.
Fantastic. Oh, however, Flandre is going on to this top side. Won't quite be able to get the tower in this push, but with the next wave should be able to. And they're going to have to try and trade it on the bottom side for EDG.
But that was really nice of Maple, actually. Because JJ, that Haymaker wasn't going to clear the whole wave until he got Scatter the Weak. Is that a verb? I don't know if Scatter the Weak is a verb. I've just used it as a verb, so it is now.
Yes.
Chichia is getting shoved out of his jungle, though, and actually trading pretty heavily back onto XX. Mako's moving over, as is Hope. Arrow on cooldown as of right now.
Oh,
Maple, that is not where you want to be. The Blast Cone disaster. The Scatter the Weak goes through, though, onto Mako, and they will get away. I was really worried for him for a second there.
Yeah, that was a little bit dicey, but either way, we are going to get both teams back in the way. EDG, after that play on bot side, didn't have a huge amount of their ultimates available. You can still see Scout is waiting on his Hope, Mako, so don't want to overcommit on that play. Rift Herald, though, is up, and with LNG backing, EDG can rush this.
They might just do that as well. You can see them grouping up and heading over. There is vision for the side of LNG. You can see the ward in the pit. EDG maybe not going to commit to this one, despite the fact that Light is in the bottom lane right now. Like, realistically, there is no contest from LNG. Okay, JJ has started off in the end.
Yeah, just
I guess there is a contest, though.
Yeah, they were just waiting to see if Hope's ult can come up, Scout's ult can come up as well. They have to be careful of Flandre, though.
So, let's just quickly mention, in the mid lane, both of these carries have one item, the Gunblade and that Luden's Echo. So, a lot of damage from these would-be assassins. Dwan has a stopwatch to keep himself safe from the play, but the stun from the concussive blow still goes through. Dwan pulls himself back in and taken down by Xiaoshang. Good start here for EDG as they continue on the Herald. Spotted out, but Flandre forced out of the play with a Gunblade. In goes Scout, and look at the damage he's got. Slicing Maelstrom just to try and keep Flandre alive. He has to flash out of the play. And EDG just brute force LNG out.
And they get that Rift Herald in the meanwhile as well. So EDG again coming up trumps on these engages. And that's what we talked about, the point where EDG get to come online, where they get to take these fights against LNG is off these one items. Scout having that Hextech Gunblade, Blade of the Rune King completed, even Triforce for Xiaoshang. So this is EDG now putting their foot down, and they're looking to accelerate past LNG.
We'll see if they can keep it going. They certainly could in game number 1, but as we said before, they looked pretty great in game number 1 against FPX. They've looked good in game number 1 in the past. Here in game number 2, it does feel like they can keep this ball rolling.
Oh, they can definitely keep it going on this next dragon. You don't have Flandre's ultimate up, which is the key engage tool, alongside the depth charge from Dwan, but almost everything on EDG is up, and by the time this dragon spawns, they should be in a good space to try and contest.
Yeah, Dwan.
Oh, no.
He's got his flash available and immediately pulls that one out. Not going to try and get out with the Dredge line, realizes that it's too little too late. Dragon going to be started. And another blast cone that could have gone very badly there for LNG, but everybody gets away. But as you rightly say, Dagda, EDG happy to just wander over and grab this for themselves. In the meantime, Flandre is up in the top lane trying to get some damage onto the tier 2.
The thing is, though, he can't stick around here. You still have the Rift Herald for JJ, so they can turn from Dragon into mid, place the Rift Herald, and start pushing down further if they want to. So rightfully, Flandre backs off, making sure that he's not actually going to give too much over towards EDG on that play.
So far, so good for EDG. And I want to keep this going as well. Look, let's just bear in mind that the double kill from the dive down in the bottom lane went straight over towards Hope. You can see that gold personified in items there. He's a full Zeal over Light right now, which is a pretty significant difference, honestly, especially for the likes of Ashe and Kalista. They hit really hard once they get to 2 items. Ashe especially on the 3-item mark, but these items so crucial for him. He does have the Crystalline Arrow available if Dwan steps too far forward, but he'll be able to walk away with his life. And Scout with this Gunblade, with a Blasting Wand as well, he has assassination potential now.
And that's why he's starting to hop off into these side lanes. He wants, so EDG's comp thrives in, skirmishes, which Xiao Shang is trying to find here. So Scout being off on his own here, he's just trying to force, well, one, LNG to deal with this pressure on the bot side of the map, but also seeing if he can catch LNG in these skirmish opportunities. As LNG already grouped up, really want to try and take the fight to EDG as a 5-man unit.
Yeah, I don't know if they can right now, though, to be quite honest. 2,000 gold lead for EDG as they drop the Herald in the mid lane. Hope just needs a couple more hits onto the tower. I don't think the Herald is going to quite finish this one off for now.
Close, not quite able to get it, though.
A stiff breeze will finish it, don't worry. The tower is essentially gone, right? Even if there's a fight around that tower, it's only going to get 2 shots out before it goes down, so I don't think EDG are too worried about that one. Next Drake in 3.5 minutes, or just under at least. And one thing I am excited here for EDG is the fact that, hey, this looks clean, right? All of the plays so far in this series look clean. That's all I'm asking for EDG. So long as they are clean, so long as they understand their win conditions, play towards them, I consider this a good series. Xiaosheng making a play onto Flandre here, who has found himself very alone with very many opponents. Xiaosheng gets the kill with a good old staff bop on the head. And there we have it.
I feel like we've seen that before from Flandre, though, in the previous game. A little bit too far forward, where there isn't any waves there, there isn't any sort of vision there to try and keep himself safe. Gets cut out, and EDG will reap the benefits. So right now, this is just going to be continuing forward. 3k gold lead, Dragon in 2.5 minutes. And now we're entering the territory where Baron's on the cards as well. And honestly, LNG, how do you try and bite back? Scouts got full control of this bottom side of the map, and he's just going to continue to be a nuisance shoving in. He then has teleport to come join, or even as we talked about, just roaming through these rivers, trying to see if he can catch out anyone from LNG who steps a little bit too far forward. And you've fantastic Baron pressure as well. Congrats, Flandre.
It was like he did his cleanse as a celebration. Beautiful. This is not the greatest 500th game.
It's not.
This is not the greatest series for a 500th game. But there you go. Yeah. That's life, isn't it?
Yeah, and look, for anyone who doesn't know, Flandre's been around a while. He's been in the LPL since 2015 and was one of the original members of Snake, which is what LNG used to be called, when they merged their 2 sister teams into one, and he was on the squad then back then with Crystal. God. It was a long, long time ago. But
Colonel's not happy, Doctor.
No, he's not. Not at all. Yeah. Not even remotely.
And important to think as well that Flandre had his first games that he missed for this team in his entire history in the LPL. This split, where he did have a couple of games where it was Chenlun starting instead of him. I say a couple, there was actually quite a few games that Chenlun played in. But they decided to go back to Flandre in the end. And the team immediately started to look a little bit better with Flandre in.
Well, that's
not that much better. They continued their loss streak, but, you know.
Yeah, but that was the thing, is that Flandre, he can have his moments. He can look really, really strong. And he was the original shot caller. So coming back in, obviously giving a little bit more of a voice to LNG. But unfortunately, as you can see, hasn't quite worked out for them in this series so far. 3,000 gold lead still over in favor of EDG. Dragon is here in 30 seconds. And when you look at Liandry's Torment completed for Scout. Runan's Hurricane completed for Hope. Xiaoshang as well, nearly on the way towards that Death Stance. It feels really difficult for LNG when they're behind in items like this to have these big fights where they can fight against EDG. However, that was nearly close. But Flandre's the big port of call here.
Nearly close.
Nearly close. Because Flandre actually got a lot of the gold early. He has these 2 items. Flandre is still quite potent right now.
Xiaosheng is as well, and he's moving in from behind. That is a whole bunch of CC. LNG, though, turned it around. Really great damage coming out from Maple before he fell, and Flandre survives off the back of the play. Scout with a perfect execution jumps back into the play for the double. It looked okay for LNG for a moment there, but Flandre slowed. Even with the flash, I don't think you're getting away. Triple for Scout. I think that might be it, though. I think that might be the last nail in the coffin, Dagda.
Well, look, we still got that Dragon. It's going to go the way of EDG. Again, we're seeing them get these early objective controls that they're snowballing with. 3-0-2 on Scout. 4-2 on towards Xiaosheng in the top lane. Again, JJ, fantastic engages on this set pick. It's not really looking likely for LNG.
It's not looking pretty. It did look okay, though. That fight went a little bit closer than I was expecting. Let's take another look, because Maple got his ult out before he went down.
As you say that, yes, but also look at the damage once Flandre hits here. Like, that was what we were talking about, is that there's actually quite a lot of damage involved in Flandre here. Unfortunately, though, there just isn't anything left in the tank. Like, it's finished off by Scout. Duan gets finished off by Scout. Even Flandre gets finished off by Scout. And already we're back into the game because EDG are making map moves and Xiaosheng is looking for Flandre.
Never underestimate the power of the Scout from EDG. Immediately pops Cyclone. Xiaosheng wants the 1v1, but he's not going to get it because Maple's arrived on the scene as well, but Xiaosheng might just 2v1. Oh my goodness, valiant effort there from the Wukong.
Yeah, but a lot of members down on this bottom side. EDG can turn towards the Baron, or at least try and bait LNG into face checking this, but looks like they're going to start it up. Hope even.
We're going to see how good they are acting. No, they're not even going to pretend. All right, fair enough. I feel like they could have tried to bait a face check there. Or just walk into XX that's strolling through the mid lane. That works too. Why not?
That's the face check. As LNG, you had... Well, you did know that they walked away, but still trying to get some sort of vision control, trying to spot out where they were. Now with the jungler completely off the map, EDG can turn towards Baron.
Job's a good one, is what EDG reckon on the back of that one. Hope gets his third kill of the game, got his hat trick for himself. He's almost at his third item as well. A lot of threes going around. But 4-11 on the scoreboard. This will be Baron unless Maple can do something truly miraculous.
Look at where Scout is, though. He's in the perfect flank position.
Uh-oh. Light's not going to enjoy the next couple of moments of his life here. In they go. Judge it on the backline. Facebreaker onto both of the carries here. But Scout is getting pretty low. Scout of the week there. In the meantime, Hope did manage to get one kill for himself, I believe. That actually went the way of LNG. I kind of missed the other half
Just
of the fight.
about, yeah. So what happened on the top side was Hope went off against Duan, managed to just about kill him. Hope can turn this around, though.
Flandre is very low on this one, as is like XX has been found by Xiaosheng. XX is not having a fun time with this Graves. No. It's because it's the new Graves. Old Graves is better. It's that simple.
That is a while ago. I mean, we've had new Graves for a bit of time at this stage. Are you still that salty?
His cigar back. He needs to be an AD carry. New Graves could have just been a new champion. They didn't have to remove my favorite AD carry, did they, Dagda?
Actually, yeah, you were already saying it was the first time you played Graves a little while ago, right?
I've only just tried new Graves because for years now, I have vowed against Riot to never play that champion because they removed the best carry from the game. Bring back Corky AD carry.
Bitter old man yells at Cloud. But either way, EDG in the top side of this fight, Duan does go down. Again, Flandre, big ultimate, shuts down the opportunity for JJ to get in. Scout as well gets caught out in that maelstrom. And again, when you look at Flandre, because he's been the benefactor of a bunch of CS, turret plays, and now a couple of kills and assists, he actually is quite big. So I think EDG will now start to respect Flandre's damage and not just jump at the electric mouse.
The Pikachu from the top lane. It's actually looked okay in the last couple of fights, which is nice. It's nice for him. I'm glad to see him succeeding in his life, you know. On his 500th game, feels good, man. Unfortunately, the Pikachu not doing quite as well as the quick tag towards a monkey Pokemon. Primate.
Yes. Sure.
Mankey.
Man, it's
How
been
did I forget Mankey? It's one letter different to Monkey.
It has been a long time since I've watched Pokemon or been involved. Like, I'm Gen 1. Gen 2 gets a bit shaky for me. When we get to Gen 3, I'm all out. I have no idea.
I will say, both Mankey and Primate are Gen 1.
I know, which is why I recognize them.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
They are monkeys. Can't argue with that. Yeah. That's science, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Professor Oak. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore, Dagda. It's 13-6. Let's talk about League of Legends. Why not? That's what we're paid for.
Dragon is in 30 seconds.
Yeah, this is
going to be the soul. Yeah. And honestly, you need Flandre to have the biggest engage of his life to try and set up LNG here, work in conjunction with XX and Maple. Burst damage is there where they can try and win, but EDG have said, hey, look, we can just play side lanes and actually not try and fight you at this. Instead, just force our lead through objectives elsewhere.
Scatter's on the other side of the map, but he has TP. It's immediately channeled here. Flandre, this is your moment. LNG, this is the time that you have to fight. You have to make something happen if you want to stay in this series, because this Mount Sol would be the end of it all, honestly. And JJ knows that he's just going to start this one off. XX wants to make his way in, wants the smite steal. This is not the moment to 50-50 this one. EDG, you don't need to lose the soul. In with the suplex. Dragon getting low. It's going to be stolen. Flandre gets the kill as well on the back of that one. Mako turns himself golden as Light is chased down by Scout, taken out on the back line. But EDG are losing the fight overall. Flandre gets yet another one. Mako goes down as well. And it's a double for Flandre. EDG, they lose the soul and they lose the fight.
EDG don't need to try and fight 5 versus 5 against LNG. That's where their composition's actually weaker. And they don't have a big enough gold lead right now to just try and make these plays work. Now LNG, they've got the Dragon. And honestly, they can turn towards this Baron if they really want to. Actually, no, I take that back. I didn't realize Light was the one that went down. But either way, they're still looking good. EDG, I thought they were going to go for what was the correct players, leave Scout, try and take these topside turrets instead. But yes, you've got Xiaoshang who's doing a good job of keeping people at bay. Scout is actually completely out of this fight thanks to Maple. And Xiaoshang is completely burst out. Flandre again does a good job of getting in on top of everyone and at least getting the stun portion down onto multiple members. But the amount of burst damage between Maple, also this Graves, and on top of the cannon, you can very quickly burst through a lot of the members of EDG.
Yeah, but the burst would have been better if it was the old Graves. If he
wouldn't
had
have.
his cigar still.
It really wouldn't have.
Actually,
He was more
actually
consistent
probably
damage. He was more about...
What?
Well, look,
Did
at least
you
he was an
ever
AD card.
play
I know,
the
I
old
did.
Graves?
I did. But he wasn't as heavy burst damage as the current Graves.
Yes, he was. He was heavier burst damage than the current Graves. Because you built BF swords.
I don't know.
You jump in, crit one time, Q with all 3 shots, collateral damage,
to be fair,
boom,
that just felt
one
like
shot.
I felt like AD carries in general back then.
I loved it. Take me back. And now you're just dancing around hoping nobody else one-shots you for the entire fight, and maybe you get an auto attack or two.
I think a lot of people kind of forget how like busted like DFG was and old AD carries.
Take me back, Dagda. Give me a private server.
I remember O'Gragas as well. I brought this up a couple of times. O'Gragas was disgusting. APE.
Old Galio.
Oh, yeah. APE. That was the one.
I'm not going to lie. Old Galio just sucked, though. Like, there was the one dream scenario where you're super fed and everyone steps in your ult, but other than that, he just sucked.
Yeah, he's still kind of similar, though. It's kind of funny. Is like, you still need to net. The whole point was, we want to remove this flash taunt, but hang on.
Hope's getting knocked up by Dwan. There's a depth charge as well. Mako's going to do a lot to protect him, but not enough against 5 members. He's going to go down as well as the Slicing Maelstrom used here. LNG are finding their way back into this game.
Yeah, and the problem is that you've got Hope it takes a step too far forward. What EDG were trying to do was play through these side lanes. However, that's a big issue now when LNG are going to pick up the fire.
Hope's flash was on cooldown. Nearly called it a TP. I don't know why. This is going to be the Baron taken now by LNG. We saw Scout grabbing the tier 2 on the top side of the map. Xiaoshang, I don't think he'll be able to finish this tower off, but then again, I've been wrong before. He's got a clone to work with, and he's going to have the minions pouring in. Looks like he's going to at least try. Nope, he's going to back away. Never mind. I was wrong. I'm always wrong, Doctor.
Okay, so this is a very nice pick from LNG, but Hope way too far forward here. I was... Like, you should be back underneath the tower, especially when you've got this much pressure on the map right now. And you can even see Scout was considering backing, so not sure what to call there. And it looks like EDG getting a little bit complacent in this game.
I appreciate Mako, though, being a true bro, trying to protect his carry there, trying to save him against all odds. Let's just quickly talk about the items for the carries, because even though Hope did just die there, he's getting real strong. He's got his 3-item spike on top of a GA right now. He died, and he didn't like it. So he's like, I vowed to never do that again. TP now coming through from Xiaoshang, who's found a knock-up immediately. LNG, they've got the Baron, but that will not help you in this team fight. Immediately, Light has gone down. That's the primary carry gone. If they can find Maple or Flandre with the Crystalline Arrow. Slicing Maelstrom, it looks nice, but it's not going to do much.
Nice stopwatch from Scout there. This is going to keep going.
Or is it?
Never mind. But yes, EDG doing a nice job there. Great TP in from Xiaosheng. And even then, Scout, you can see at the end goes golden, stops that burst damage from Maple. Catching LNG completely off guard. And it's right in time for that 30 seconds on that Dragon Soul as well.
Mako wants himself a red buff, apparently. 1v1. And I'm not actually sure if he even wins that 1v1, to be quite honest. But there you go. Hopes come to save the day. And now Drake up. 15 seconds here. Flandre is not going to be here.
Maple nearly has his ult again. They need to be careful against this Syndra.
I would say that Maple also has to be careful because Hope has plenty of damage. He's got a GA, so you can't even assassinate him at this point. Drake spawned. And XX, it's all on you once again. You've got one stolen away last time.
Look at Xiaosheng, though. He has his ultimate up and available, looking to go for the play.
There's a Blast Cone underneath XX. TP being channeled here by Maple, who's trying to get back in. Cyclone onto Maple. Xiaosheng turns himself golden. That is a nice arrow coming through. In the meantime, what? Light got found in the backline. Scout is the MVP comfortably here. Goes on to Flandre. See you later. Another double kill. And he wants more as well. He's going to try and find the triple as he flashes away. Gets onto Duan. But it's taken by Xiaosheng in the end. The Mountain Soul is there. And EDG, I think they might have done it, Dagda.
Yeah, 30-second dead timers left on LNG. They have all 5 members of EDG up. And they can rip through these structures. Nicely
done here, EDG. And nicely done, Scout, to find Light as he's making his way through the jungle. Play the assassin that you are. 7-1 in the end. And you know what? Let's have a bonus kill. Let's get one for the road. Or not, because XX has made it out. But you know what? Nexus towers were more important anyway. EDG. They've done it. It looked a little bit shaky, I'm not going to lie, but hey, a 2-0 is still a 2-0, and they keep the playoff hopes alive.
EDG will take a pretty convincing win over LNG. As we said, some hiccups along the way, but either way, EDG still come out with the 2-0 victory, and not sure if